about moving hips.
Yes.
Why we do that and why it's important.
Okay, again, why it's important. The hips are your impulsion, they're your motor. You need to have full control of them, driving them forward and shutting them down. So actually, when you're working on the hips, when you're moving hips, you can have both. It just kind of depends on what exercise you're asking. But to move hips, we'll use cletus on the ground first. When you teach it, you want to exaggerate. Horses don't learn by you asking in the spot that you want them to move it when they're trained. Like that would probably be right about here for cletus. We want to teach it back here. We want to exaggerate so he understands, and then we'll move these buttons in as he learns what we're asking. But if you start out here, you always have that foundation or that starting point. If they get confused or you have an issue, just exaggerate your leg back, show them super clear what you want, and then bring your leg back in again. So when we're asking for his hips, when we're teaching a horse, it's kind of a multi-step thing. We want them to kind of soften. How could I stand? I'll stand right here. So we want him to soften and hold it, and then we're going to apply pressure. Disengage that hip. I'll go all the way around. You want him to plant a pivot foot in the front. Good boy. Good buddy. Good boy. So front feet should not walk forward. He should move that hip all the way around. Now we kind of rushed that and I didn't finish what I was saying, so let me talk my way through it again and then he can demo again. Why I ask for softness in the beginning is because I want those hips to be soft. If all I do is just fight the hips and ask him to move, he's going to stiffen in the pole, he's going to stiffen through his head and neck, he's going to hollow out, he's hollow enough as it is, and not move his hips correctly. I want him to engage as much of his body when he moves his hip as possible and keep him soft. So I'll ask him to get soft, ask for the hip, and then when I take that pressure off on the hip, I'll soften him up again. He stays fairly soft, but we'll kind of run through it. When you apply the pressure, and I'm using a stick so you can kind of see, you want to start as soft as you can and then apply more pressure. You never take it off. If you kind of pulsate your pressure and go off and on, you're basically saying, move off my pressure, no, that's fine. Move off my pressure, no, that's fine. So if when you take that pressure off, he's leaning into that pressure, you're rewarding him for pushing on you. We want to apply that pressure till he moves the hip the way that we ask, and then take that pressure off completely. So we're going to try it one more time. So I'll slide, keep him soft, ask him to move his hip, and I'm barely applying pressure right here. I'll kiss to him a little bit too, just to give him a little extra energy. Take it off. There. Good boy. Now, he gave me a couple extra steps. I don't worry about it. That's like extra credit. That's a good thing. I want him to try super hard. Some of my guys, once you take that pressure off, they'll just stop right away. Cletus gives a little extra, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. So we'll start on Nikki's right hip. Let's turn her so it can be seen. Come on, Nick. Now, Nikki's pretty good for this because Nikki has a ton of buttons. So Lindsay's going to have to exaggerate. Lindsay's leg thinks that she can ask for hips right here, which she can, but that's not what we want to show. We want to show how to exaggerate in the beginning. So, and you can even pull your foot out of your stirrup if you want. Lots of people, when they exaggerate, they go up. That's not what we want. We want to exaggerate back. And she's going to ask heel first. She has spurs on, but she's going to sit. She's going to ask heel first. She's going to have to bump her just a hair because Nikki's going to want to go forward. And then ask. Sit deep. Keep asking. Nice, and then take it off. Good. Now, let's talk about hands. When you're on the horse, If you apply that pressure and they don't understand, they're going to want to walk forward right away. We're talking about hands. We asked her, but not by bending her much, but if we're going to do it exactly like we did it in the halter, Lindsay's going to slide, soften her face first, then exaggerate that leg back, right there, heel first, sit deep, sit deep, sit deep. Really think about sitting deep, leg off, and then soften her again. Don't throw that away.
We already do that.
Soften. No, go ahead. Finish it. Even if you lose that rein, which everybody does, go ahead and soften again. If we're doing it from the start, you're going to sit and slide down one rein only. Soften that nose, ask that hip, take it off when you're done moving the hip, and soften the face again. So slow, not so high. Her leg went super high right there. Sit deeper, leg off, and soften. Good. Now, another thing, I'm kind of nitpicking through this, and not picking on Lindsay, but she's doing things that everybody does. When you do it, when everybody slides down that rein, everybody wants to look. When you look, you lean forward. So again, when you go to slide and soften, look up and sit down. You should feel from your seat instead of eyes and hand. And don't scrunch that leg up. Everybody wants to dig that leg and push harder. That's that whole pressure energy thing. Sitting deep is your energy. Wait your pressure out. The pressure should be soft. Nice. Leg off, and soften. Good. Perfect. It's a lot of steps. It sounds super easy, but unless you're kind of nitpicking on yourself and kind of making yourself better, you'll make mistakes. You have to tell yourself to look up. You have to tell yourself to sit in your seat. You have to tell yourself, if the horse gets stuck on that hip and it won't move, everybody goes to the face and tries to pull that face around. That's when you should sit more. Ask more hip. Focus on the hip and wait it out. Be super patient. One more time on right hip and then we'll do left. So you're going to soften the face, leg back, eyes up, because you're thinking about that hind end. Energy, you can kiss, apply more energy. Leg off, soften. I'll take it, throw it away. Good, nice. Okay.
All right, so we're going to move to left hip now.
We're going to do left hip. Again, remember, you're sitting down deep, so eyes are up. You want to focus on what's behind you and what's moving, not what's in front of you. When you slide, make it soft. Bump if you have to, soften that face. Exaggerate your leg back, not up. Up. Whatever. And sit deep. Ask for that hip. Sit deep. Leg back. Sit deep. Keep thinking hip. Add your energy if you need it. Leg off. Soften. Throw it away. Don't pull that hand over top.
That was my
Bump,
fault.
bump, bump.
I'll let her go.
Yep. Everybody does. Again, that's really good because you're showing what everybody does. Your brain says hips are moving, hips stop, throw it away. Soften at the end. You always want to soften that hip in the beginning and in the end to keep it soft. One more time, left hip. Sit deep. Energy. Leg off. Bump, bump, throw it away. Nice. Okay. Hips. You can do a ton of things with hips. We're going to show a couple, but there's a lot more we can do that requires a lot more talking. We'll just show the disengaging hips from the walk. There's a couple ways you can do this. We'll do both. Lindsay's going to walk along. She's going to sit, slide, soften that face, completely disengage that hip, take that leg off, and then soften and stay stopped. Then she's going to walk along. We're going to do that a few times, and then she's going to walk along, sit, slide, completely disengage that hip. And then when she takes, hang on, I messed that up. She's going to sit, slide, completely disengage that hip. And then instead of shutting Nikki down, she's going to drive her out Get away from us a little bit. And this time you're going to shut that hip down.
Okay.
We're not going to drive out of it. So you're going to eyes up, sit, slide down left rein, left leg back. Think about that left hip. Apply energy, energy. Kiss to her, energy. Leg off and soften the face. Good. Let her stand there for a sec. And then walk out of it. We'll do right hip since you're headed this way. All right, go ahead and walk. Same thing. We're shutting your engine down here. All right, eyes up, sit, slide, right leg back. Energy. Leg off. Soften that face. Throw it away. Good. Let her stand for a sec and walk off. I don't care left or right.
Okay.
Pick a direction.
I'll go left.
Okay, go ahead. All right, one more time. Let's shut the energy down. Sit, slide, completely disengage the hip. Eyes up, you're looking down. Energy, leg off, soften, throw it away. Perfect. Let's do right hip one more time just to keep things even. We're all a little OCD around here. All right, get around past us. All right, sit, slide, leg back, eyes up, energy, more energy, leg off, soften. Good, throw it away. All right, let her stand for a sec. And now this time, we're gonna do right again. You're just gonna move forward. You're gonna sit, slide down that right side, right leg back, completely disengage those hips, and then drive her out to the left. This is really important that you keep your eyes up. When everybody does this, they want to look down and think about it. You're sitting down thinking about that right hip, completely disengaging it, and then look up to the left, keep that right leg on, and drive out. So now you're headed this direction. You're going to slide down left, and you're going to drive her to the right. All right, sit, slide down left rein, left leg back, eyes up. Think about which way you're driving her. Left hip, disengage, drive to the right, look right, drive, drive, more energy. There you go, make it happen. Don't quit until you have energy. All right, sit, slide down right, we're gonna drive to the left. Energy on that right hip, keep going, and drive to the left, push. Go, much better, there you go. Even if they're kind of sticky at first. Again, the point is you work on your cues. All right, let's do right hip again. Slide down right, right leg back. Disengage, drive to the left. Good. Come off the rail. All right, slide down left. Left leg back, eyes up, feel it, drive to the right. Go, yeah, good. All right, let's do one more left hip. All right, sit, slide, left leg back, back with your left leg. Drive to the right. Good. All right, shut her down and come here. Okay, so let's talk a teeny bit about the pros and cons of that. How hard is that? How much do you have to think?
You have to think about it a lot. Just the concept of it is very simple, but it's the clarity that you have to think about. Because the first time, I mean, I haven't done this in forever. I haven't hardly ridden either, which plays a big part too in your body, your mind controlling your body. Like my first instinct was when she got stuck in the first one was to just both legs make her go.
Yep. When
that's the opposite of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, everybody likes to. The 2 or 3 things, I think it's just 2, but I might add a third, I don't know, that people like to do is, number one, they look down. You've got to sit back and keep your eyes up and think about, I'm asking right hip, but I'm driving to the left. You have to know your left and right
Right.
before you start. Another thing is when you drive out of that hip and you're completely disengaging right hip, everybody will go and squeeze with both legs. That's not the point of the exercise.
Right.
The exercise is driving to the left from that right hip. So left, you're kind of opening it up. You don't have to exaggerate completely, but you can if it helps you. You're kind of driving to the left.
Right.
Eyes up. I guess that's only 2. I said 3, but those are the big things people do.
It just makes you very aware. Like, the exercise is good for what you're getting ready to get into, but it's also good for just awareness of what you're doing with your body.
It's a good exercise to improve your riding, for one. For the horse, it's a big exercise for hips, driving from either right hip or left hip into the lope.
Yep.
That's the big thing for us, is I want my horse, when I pick up the lope, I want them to drive from the hip. So if I want left lead, footfalls, it starts with right hind, so I want to be able to bring that right leg back. I don't want to worry about shoulders. I want them to be super responsible with their shoulders, and I want to be able to bring that right leg back, move that right hip over, and start off right into the lope, left lead. There is one more thing that we forgot with the flexing. We'll show it super quick, but we'll talk about this more when we talk about collection and stuff like that and work on the rib cage. But once your horse is bending laterally nicely and that pole is staying fairly level, you should be able to lift up on your reins for your vertical flexion and use your legs, and your horse should give, wait her out, throw it away. So do it again, just lift, there we go, couple more, lift, and she gives that vertical flexion. That comes from lateral flexion. Don't pull back, just to lift straight up, throw it away. One more, straight up, good. Okay, so that's where we're going with the lateral flexion, but that's a whole nother video in itself. All right, you good?
All right, well, that has been, what did we go over? We went over flexion, hips.
That's it, flexion and hips.
Yeah, we didn't do so. We did a little bit of extra credit,
Energy.
and pressure. Well, we hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.